What's up, gamers? We're back with another Overwatch video, and I am going to start making Overwatch videos mostly because I love the game. I'm already level 80, which means I played for 72 hours, which is insane. And on Skype right now is Max from CynicalNerds. What's up, Max?
Hello. How you doing?
Now, I started watching CynicalNerds right when I first got this game because he has a ton of quick tutorials. Most of them are under 7 minutes, right?
Yeah, roughly. They're all roughly around 7 minutes. That's about right, yeah.
And you started playing in beta, so you've been playing a long time now.
I was really lucky. I got in with the first wave of beta invites. So I've been playing since October last year.
Wow.
I couldn't tell you how many hours I racked up in the game. Although you are higher level than me now.
Oh, wow.
Since the game has been released, I've only got 56 hours in there. I'm level 66, so you got a little bit more than me. And I think between February and the time closed beta shut down, I probably put in about 100 hours. And so I've got another 56, and I must have had about 50 odd hours before February as well. So yeah, maybe around 200 hours I've put into this game so far. I absolutely love it too. I still not bored of it. Even after 200 hours, I still love it to pieces.
I absolutely love the game. I'm obsessed with it. It's so much fun. And you were saying it's easy to learn but hard to master, and that is what a game needs to be about. And I love everything about the game. Now, what we're going to talk about today is mostly support heroes, which I think is not well understood, and it's absolutely vital. You're talking about it. If you don't have a healer, you pretty much are going to lose.
Oh yeah, it's so strong. If you've got a healer and the enemy team doesn't have a healer, you've got such a huge advantage. You're probably just going to straight up win. Now, if they pick a healer, then they're going to have a better chance, but you really need one. Really.
Now, there are 3 healers in the game. There's Zenyatta, Mercy, and Lucio, and you directed me to a website, and I'm going to put that on the screen right here. And this is from Planet Overwatch, where they track usage of heroes in competitive games. And it's pretty easy to see that the 2 most dominant of the 3 healers is definitely Mercy and Lucio. And Zenyatta is like the least used hero altogether.
Yeah, the problem with Zenyatta is he's just too squishy. He's really strong. His damage output is incredible. Like, he does so much damage, and he's got decent healing. His healing per second is 30. So Mercy has the best single target healing in the game, which is 50 healing per second. But obviously she has to be within 10 meters, 10, 15 meters. The beam range is something along those lines. Obviously Zenyatta doesn't have to be near them, but he has to have them in line of sight. Now, he does 30 healing a second, which is still okay, but he just dies. Like, if a strong breeze comes across him, he just falls over.
But the 2 that I think are the most relevant or most important right now are definitely Mercy and Lucio. And I am a huge Lucio player, and you are a huge Mercy player. Why should I play Mercy?
Well, Mercy is my go-to support. She's my 5th highest played hero. I just find her so much fun. She's got the strongest healing per second in the game, obviously single target, whereas Lucio's got the AoE healing, which is strong, and they're both strong in their own rights. Mercy's ultimate is what's so game-changing. Resurrect. It could just undo all the work that the enemy do. They come in, they wipe your team, or they pick off 3 or 4 of you, and it's looking like a team fight that you're going to lose, and she can just bring everyone back again and just change the tide of it. She's so strong. The reason I enjoy playing her so much is I love like hyper mobile heroes, like anyone that moves around the map really fast. 3 other heroes in my top 5 are Genji, Pharah, and Tracer. These are the kind of heroes that I like to play, ones where I can move about really quickly, and Mercy is exactly the same as those to me, because her Guardian Angel is just so much fun to use. It's only got a 1.5 second cooldown, just allows you to dash about the place, get in there where the healing's really needed and top people back up. Or if you've got a soldier that's a little bit of distance away from you and he's just popped his ultimate, you can dash to him and put your right mouse button on him and just absolutely tear people to pieces. I just find it so much fun to play.
So what you're talking about is left shift on the Guardian Angel, which allows you to fly towards an ally. And then, of course, there's 2 modes on Mercy where you can either heal them or give them a damage boost. And then she does have a gun, and you were telling me that you can actually take out Tracers and Genjis all the time with the gun?
I don't know about all the time, but yeah, it's a powerful weapon, and a lot of the time those flankers are going to be coming for you because you're a high-value target. They want to take you out before they take anyone else out because they don't want you resurrecting them. And they also, especially Tracer, I mean, Genji's quite a good assassin, as in he's got that huge burst damage, and he's not necessarily too bothered if someone's healing his target because he'll just 100 to 0 them pretty quickly. But Tracer's a little bit more methodical, and she kind of like burns them down over a little bit more time.
Right.
It's still very quick in game time, but compared to Genji, it's a little bit slower. And so they're going to be going for you because they want to make sure that you're not there healing those targets and stopping them from killing who they're targeting. So they want to make sure they take you down. And a lot of the times, especially when you're playing in public games, you don't quite get the protection that you need.
Right.
And so you've got that Caduceus blaster. And it's really strong. I think each shot does 20 damage, double for a headshot, and it fires 5 shots a second. So you can output 100 DPS. Tracer's only got 150 health. If you land all of your shots, you can kill her in 1.5 seconds, and they don't even have to be headshots.
One of the things that I think is misplayed on Mercy a lot is the Resurrect. When is the best time to use Resurrect? When do you not use a Resurrect?
Okay, well, Resurrect is a really interesting ability because it's incredibly powerful and it charges so quickly. You can charge Mercy's ultimate in next to no time at all. When you've got an ultimate that powerful that charges that quickly, you don't have to save it for those big 4-man resurrects. It's only got a 15-meter range. It's actually quite rare for Mercy to be able to res her entire team, unless they've all died in the same ultimate, or they've all died in a very small area of the map. So generally use it. If somebody dies, depending on how important they are and how valuable they are to the role of what your team's trying to do, you can use it on one person. If your Reinhardt goes down, res them, get them up. Think of it, that res as being a 500 HP heal, because you've just resed a 500 health target.
Right.
You've just done a huge heal, and then your tank's back up, and he's going to be taking damage, which means you're then going to be able to heal him, and you're going to be able to use that to charge your ultimate again. Now, your ultimate can also still be used on single lower health targets, depending on how valuable they are. You need to get a sense for who's doing the damage on your team, who are the valuable players, who's really doing well, who are they focusing, because they're the ones that are going to start dying. You can single res those guys as well. A 2-man res is always going to have value. Anything 3 and above, instantly use, unless you can see around you that somebody else is going to die. So one caveat that I should say is that before you do a single person res, you kind of want to have a quick spin around. Just see that there's nobody else critical within range that's also going to need the res in time soon. There's nothing more frustrating than pushing that resurrect button and then a split second later somebody else dying, and it's like,
Now, let's talk about Lucio. And Lucio is my favorite hero to play. I play him the most. I enjoy him, and I just don't like the playstyle of Mercy. I'm definitely more of a Lucio player. I just love him. What can you say good about Lucio?
Right, Lucio's all about the mobility. He's really strong as well. I do like him. I've got about 5 hours on Mercy. I've got 4 hours on Lucio. I do like to play a bit of Lucio too, but I find his healing per second isn't quite as strong as Mercy's, but where he shines is he gives his whole team mobility, and then he's got that AoE burst heal. I find when I play Lucio, I tend to spend most of my time in the speed aura, keeping everybody moving nice and quickly. And then when people have taken damage, I'll switch to the healing aura and I'll amp up a heal. Try and get that healing done as quickly as possible so I can switch back to speed. This is one of those things where I've had people say to me that they think they should stay in the healing aura more often. One of the biggest arguments for it is if they've got a Lucio and I'm a Lucio and their Lucio is always in his healing aura, he's going to charge his ultimate faster because he's instantly going to be healing up any damage they take, whereas you have to switch if you want to do your healing. And that is true. But you've got to remember that if you're making your whole team move faster, you're presenting harder targets for the enemy. And although your personal ultimate's going to charge a little bit slower, the enemies are going to charge a little bit slower, and your team are probably going to be able to get their damage off a little bit more easily. And so their ultimates are going to be charging faster. So it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off. You do still want to be charging Lucio's ultimate. Definitely. His damage is a good way of charging his ultimate.
Yeah, and I played Lucio about 16 hours, and I don't know if I'm an expert or not, but I pretty much just do the speed run situational situations when I hear ultimate go off or something like that, where I know people need to run away or running to a point or trying to capture B, but I'm pretty much always healing. And I think that works best when you've got a lot of heroes with the 200 HP type heroes, the DPS heroes. You know, they take one little hit and they're at 120 and then they bounce right back up to 200 very quickly. It just seems to work out that way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, if people have taken damage, you want to be getting back to your healing aura to be able to heal them up as quickly as possible. You want to make sure that you're keeping your guys on as high health as possible. And this is the reason that I personally think Mercy is a better single healer on a team.
Oh, yeah.
because her healing per second is so much greater and she can do it so much quicker. Lucio's is AoE, but it only ticks at about 12 health a second when it's not amped up. When you amp it up, you can heal about 150 health over the duration of the amp it up. And because you've got that burst heal, one thing that you can do is you can let your teammates get a little bit lower. You don't necessarily have to sit there in that healing aura the entire time. They can take a bit of damage. They can get down, they can lose 100 health or so, or if you really want to be risky, they can lose 150 health or so, and then you can switch to that big heal and amp it up and really give them all that health back really quickly and then go back to helping them move fast. It's difficult to do. It's not something that feels very natural at first, because I think most of the time, me especially when I first started playing Lucio back in the beta, it's so natural to want to keep healing all the time because that's what you feel you're there to do.
And I gotta say, I love playing Lucio. I love the play style. Hanging out in the back, healing everybody, taking damage, killing other people. I get a lot of kills. I can't tell you the number of times that I medal with Lucille in eliminations. He definitely can do damage. He can take out turrets very easily. And then my most favorite thing to do is to use his sonic amplifier to knock people off the map. I love doing that.
Oh, yeah. They call it booping when you boop somebody off the map. It is so much fun.
And it's also very good for defensive plays where if you're stuck where you get chained by a roadhog, you can get out of that situation a lot of times with it. When to use it is very important.
Oh, yeah. It's the knockback. In these kind of games, I feel any ability that you can use to displace your opponent in any way is really strong, because positioning is always so important. You have to be in the right position, takes advantage of what your abilities do and what your weapon does. And if you can somehow displace somebody, not just knocking them off the map, like you said, if you end up getting close range to a roadhog because he's hooked you in, or maybe he came around a corner and you weren't expecting him, you can knock him away from you, and all of a sudden he does a lot less damage. And it's a lot more noticeable on Reaper. He does crazy damage like within a couple of meters of you, but if you knock him back to sort of 7-8 meters away from you, he does nothing. It's like he's tickling you. He has to get so close to do his damage, and that right click is great.
Same thing with Diva. You just knock her back a little bit. Lucio can just completely destroy a diva consistently. If she gets too close, you just push her back and run away, and you're doing damage to her, and she's doing no damage to anybody.
Lucio is surprisingly good 1v1 against a lot of heroes. Diva is definitely one of them. And a lot of it is to do with her gigantic head hitbox as well. It's so easy to headshot Diva. But yeah, like you say, you knock her away and she does no damage, and then you can just burst those 4-shot bursts right into her head and do a ton of damage to her.
It's very, very, very good. Yeah, I enjoy playing them. Now, pretty much we've been talking about how on most of the competitive plays, they're playing 2 support. It seems like when I play quick matches, there's only 1 support, and that's usually me. What can you say about the difference between 1 support player versus 2 support players?
2 support seems to be the pretty standard meta. We occasionally, at top competitive level from the tournaments that I've been watching, you very occasionally get a single support team, but double support teams tend to do a lot better. These combos tend to be Mercy Lucio. I mean, Mercy Lucio is like a staple. They're pretty much the 2 core heroes. I mean, we've spent a lot of time talking about what we think might be better, Mercy or Lucio, but they're both so good and they both do so much for their team. And so they end up being the 2 supports that most people run with. And when you're running double healer, it's about the utility of the secondary healer. Now with Mercy Lucio, Lucio becomes the secondary healer because his speed boost becomes the utility. When Mercy is there to do all the healing, Lucio gets to pretty much stay in speed most of the time, and then he's got that amp it up for his heal if there's ever a critical moment where the team have accidentally taken some area of effect damage or something like that.
Something we didn't talk about is Lucio's ultimate, when to use and not to use.
Lucio's ultimate, this is a more difficult one because unlike Mercy's, he actually has the slowest charging ultimate in the game.
Yeah.
Time-wise, passively, his ultimate takes 6.5 minutes or 6 minutes 40 seconds to charge. Mercy's ultimate charges in 2 minutes 40 seconds. And so obviously Lucio's is so much slower. But however, they both can charge them by dealing damage and by doing healing. And Mercy can do it by damage boosting. Speed boosting will not charge Lucio's ultimate at all. So this is more something that you want to make sure you're getting good value out of. It's as much as you don't want to sit on a Lucio ultimate for an extended period of time, because the longer you're sitting on an ultimate, the less you're charging your next one, because obviously your next ultimate doesn't charge until you use the one that you've got. But because it's incredibly powerful, you want to make sure you're using it on as many allies as possible. And it's best used to counter big enemy ultimates. This is one of the easiest things to use it for. You get those big audio cues in the game. You get those big noises letting you know that Zarya's got everyone caught in the graviton surge. Or you can hear Farah raining justice from above, or you hear a soldier ultimate, he's got you in his sight. You make sure you push that Q right there and then, and it's just going to negate that ultimate. Admittedly, Farah can still kill your team through a Lucio ultimate, but it gives your team enough time to react to her, and she's a sitting duck up there in the air.
Yep.
So that extra bit of HP that you give your teammates means your team are going to kill her before she kills any of you.
Yeah, I find that I end up using Lucio's ultimate mostly when I'm about to die, which happens to be when the rest of the team's about to die.
Well, that works too.
I mean, it's just I stay alive a little longer. I could heal everybody up, and it's usually at critical moments at the points where it happens, and absolutely countering other specials. The audio cues in this game are so important. It's almost the biggest advantage you can have is just knowing all the audio cues.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth learning for sure. Another time that you can use Lucio's ultimate is if you're on the attacking side and your team wants to push on to the point, you want to push on to the objective. This requires a little bit more coordination.
Yep.
And when everyone's pushing onto the point, one thing that you can do is you can switch to your speed mode, amp up the speed boost so that everyone's flying in there super fast. And then as soon as you get in there, you drop your sound barrier. So your team probably would have taken some chip damage as you're running in, and maybe you want to pop the ultimate about halfway in. You kind of have to gauge it depending on the situation and how much damage is flying around. But it just allows your team to get onto the objective. Like normally they're holding these big chokes, and it's really difficult for your team to walk through, even with a Reinhardt shield, because the Reinhardt shield's just getting evaporated in no time at all. With that speed boost, you could do this really aggressive surprise push, and then you've got the sound barrier to give everybody that extra huge bulk of HP whilst you're pushing in, and it works really well.
At the end of the day, I just want to say Lucio versus Mercy, and the answer is both. Love them both. Play both of them. You will get upvoted a ton on both of these heroes. Everybody loves it when you play Lucio or Mercy. At least one, if not two, on every single team is a necessary thing. Thank you so much for coming on, Max. And like I said, in the comments section below, there is a link to his channel, CynicalNerds. It is blowing up right now. Check out if you want to see more Overwatch videos. And right here in the middle of the screen, there is a link to the playlist of all of my Overwatch videos. I really do appreciate all the support. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.